Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 4 of What If Naruto Had the Rarest Bloodline. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also stay in tune for What If Naruto was an emotionless ghost on this channel later on, which I do hope that you guys enjoy. And I'm going to be posting a new episode over Anime King 3 and Anime King as well guys, yes. I have 3 channels. Links will be down in the description, so go ahead and click those red subscribe buttons and turn on those bell notifications so you can see exactly when I post and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your support and your help. So just sit back, relax, and I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and if you're not, let me try to make it a little bit better with these videos. So yeah, without further ado, what is we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last spot we left off, Orochimaru and Tsunade made a move. As Orochimaru wrapped up Naruto with his snakes, his fangs ready to bite down into the back of Naruto's neck. But Sawaki was already upon him, as she had a needle pressed into his side and one at Tsunade's throat. The slightest movement they made, it was over, as Naruto revealed that security cameras were in here. So, he had the right to kill the two Sanins right here and now. As he started to leak darkness from his body, Orochimaru and Tsunade became petrified as Orochimaru realized something. The Naruto that he taught all those years ago was gone. This man in front of him, this beast, was a different breed entirely. Naruto calmed himself though, as Orochimaru quickly backed off. As he allowed them to leave, with that both him and Sawaki made their way, they went to a diner in their private booth as they started to talk. The reason why he let them go was, despite the both of them starting this, Konoha has too much allies at the moment. So, he wouldn't want to start anything with Konoha at the moment. But if he had to, he would, because Hiruzen was really pushing his luck. Sawaki also told him about the other villages and the letters from the Kazekage, and Kiri as well. Kiri and Uzo was the only village that helped sneak refugees out of darkness. So Naruto had, well, a bit of payment for them, as they had done something great, but still, they wanted to come and talk allies. As we learn more about Sawaki's bloodline, as when her blood entered your system, she could control you. That is why she was called a vampire, because she also drank blood. And she kind of go crazy if she get too much, as her bloodlust had skyrocketed one time. She even tried to challenge Naruto, but she wasn't even a match for him, even how powerful she was. Despite Orochimaru being the snake sage and all that, he knew that he wouldn't live if she had injected him. Mito had found out about everything that happened, as she was against Hiruzen about doing this. So she left the village, as Hiruzen tried to stop her, but well, he can't really do that. After all, she was married to the first Hokage and the backing of her clan, and he wouldn't want to fall out of good favors with the Uzumakis that can contain the Bijus. But she wasn't exactly leaving the village, she was just going to visit darkness. Torun was her brother, as Torun had write her a letter saying how much he saw Naruto as a brother, as she wanted to formally speak to Naruto once again. But Tsunade demanded on coming as she followed her the entire way. As Naruto forbade Tsunade from stepping inside his country, she could just wait out here, as she was fuming. Mito simply shrugged her off. After all, she didn't see the big problem. She could handle herself. Despite being in her old age, she still looked quite young, and not to mention she was quite powerful. And with the arts of Fuin Jutsu, she was literally unmatched at the moment. As Naruto gave her a tour around darkness, she had to admit everything was coming along impressive, as she brought 2 attendants with her from the Kurama clan. As Naruto was also worried about the Kurama clan, but the leader said that they were fine. He couldn't just sneak them out because of their numbers, and not to mention the demon that they're currently holding in their possession. So yeah guys, that's basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the place and check out for yourself. So this will begin this new episode. I don't want you to ally with darkness, Harrison said, as he took his seat in front of the Kazekage. The man glanced towards Harrison, but he simply continued writing his note about how his second in command was to look after the village during his absence. Well, good evening to you too, Harrison, the man said. I will tear apart our alliance if you so much meet with that blonde brat tomorrow, said Sarutobi with a growl, as the man saw how hatefully Sarutobi regarded Naruto. Do it, said the Kazekage. We will see how long Konoha lasts without our herbs and oil. That farm you want to build, Harrison said, quickly changing the discussion. We can help you build it all, the soil, the water, even the farmers. It can be much better than anything darkness can ever make. Oh? But when I first asked, you shot me down immediately, said the Kazekage with a raised eyebrow. In truth, if the San had established their farm and grow their own crops and food, the food that they imported from Konoha, the price would literally drop to really nothing because they would have their own. The main purpose for their alliance, the food that the San, the crops that they got from Konoha for half of their mission requests, would be worth nothing because they would have their own crops. And Harrison couldn't allow that in the first place. The Kazekage sat back with a smirk. Once we finalize our alliance, I won't even need Konoha. The oils, the herbs, everything that they would sort out at the meeting with darkness. Things that the second Hokage and the third Hokage denied the San, leaving them out in the dust. But Naruto saw the potential for the hidden San to become a desert oasis. Despite the neglect from the Wind Daimyo, he also saw the long-term benefit of investing in the San. The chance they had been searching for had finally come, and nothing would stop them from grasping it. Harrison gritted his teeth as his knuckles cracked tightly, but the Kazekage didn't react to that at all. I don't intend to tear up the San Alliance, but I will be making a few small changes. Konoha is your only reliable ally, Tetsuo, said Harrison. I have enough ninjas to overrun the San by morning. I will seize your oil fields, take all your medical herbs, and steal all your village secrets, mountain, tea, and grass. They will not come fast enough to save you. I dare you to try, said the Kazekage. There was a gourd behind the man's decks, with the iron sand inside, as he started to twirl. You are not the only powerful ninja. After all, Tetsuo, with his iron sand, was the San powerfulest Kage, and that title was not given loosely. Whatever animosity you have with Lord Naruto, quite frankly, I don't care. As dark shadows gather over his eyes as he narrowed them towards Harrison. But Harrison didn't seem shaky at all. Even one of my stature, no strength when I see it. Lord Naruto is aware of his allies, and he does everything for the profit of his people. The San Alliance with darkness is for a mutual profit between the both of us. Do you think I fear that filthy rat? Harrison said. You certainly should, said Tetsuo. The lengths a man will go to protect his family, his people, cannot be measured, Harrison. Are you saying that you fear him? Asked Harrison. I'm saying that I respect him enough to not turn his anger towards my home. As Tetsuo knew, despite from protecting his country, Naruto didn't really care much for anything else. Well, aside from his student, which he cared for a lot. But, like most other leaders, well, Naruto was different. Very little got him angry. So if you just didn't piss him off, things would run rather smoothly. But Tetsuo wanted to know, why? Are you so against him anyway? He asked as he looked at Harrison. Someone like you will never understand, said Sarutobi as he got to his feet. You will roll over on your back as long as it makes Lord Naruto happy. You disgust me, he said. Tetsuo rubbed his forehead tiredly. You clearly don't understand what it means to lead a village, young man. In turn, Naruto fully respected Tetsuo. I really don't know what else to tell you, said Tetsuo. Harrison turned and left. This was similar to the thought that he had with Torun Uzumaki months ago, before he signed that alliance with Naruto. But he was smart enough to not threaten the Uzumaki. Yes, after all, that wouldn't go over well. Meanwhile, of all of Naruto's regrets, he had one that he regretted till this very day. That was currently on his mind at the moment. Flashback, Yaiko had just come to Naruto to show him the letter that he received from Hanzo, telling them that they wish to unite the Hinrin with their new group called the Akatsuki, so they could work together to overcome the Stone and Kumo, the Hinrin, two oppressors in the Second Great Shinobi War. As Yaiko had sent back a letter, he would happily discuss things with Hanzo, but as long as they cut ties with the Hidden Leaf. The Akatsuki did not trust the Leaf. Konoha has done nothing bad. Well, not yet. But it was always a bad feel when it came to them. Konoha didn't feel right at all. Still, the news that Hanzo wanted to set aside their differences, even Konan that indulged in the celebration, all of them were happy. The group was making their way there, but on their way they were attacked by ninjas wearing the rain headband. But they all knew that they weren't rain ninjas, to the way they thought and the way they spoke. After all, the five of them had lived in the Hidden Rain for the longest time. No one they knew how the ninjas acted, how they reacted, how they spoke. They just had the headband and the clothing. They were not rain ninjas. As a thought came to their mind, Konoha. Naruto sat down after a long battle. Below him was corpses of his enemies. At the moment, he wondered how his 15-year-old protege was handling the Hidden Rain imposters. As Naruto got to his feet when he saw a pair of black eyes peep out from a tree. As a man stepped out, Shimura Danzo from the Shimura clan. From what the lower rank Akatsuki had reported, this man was wearing the Hidden Rain for his protector. "What have you done?" Danzo yelled as he looked at the corpses. "Lord, Hanzo trusted you." "Cut the crap, Danzo," said Naruto, as he already suspected where this was leading up to. "My name is Kanzo, not Danzo. Can you escape all this running around? And tell me why you send your ninjas to die?" What Danzo said next always stayed in Naruto's mind. "We are the roots of the great tree, the shadows, protecting the great leaf. The will of fire will forever burn." As Naruto's blood run cold, "What the hell did you do, Danzo? For peace to reign in Konoha, there must be casualties." While some of the rain forces were destroying Stone and Kumo ninja, Iron Leader had retreated back into his base in Iron Country. The Hidden Rain was on the very tipping point, and having Hanzo and the Akatsuki fought would tip it over. The country would be ripped apart by the internal warfare. Naruto leaped forward. Danzo tried to move. He was fast enough to not have his head crushed, but his right eye was destroyed. As Naruto twists and slammed a foot on his shoulder, smashing his arm down. As Naruto shattered the man's shoulder blades, he flicked his wrist as a tanto came from his sleeve as he caught it and sliced Danzo's right arm right off. As he burst into black smoke and he disappeared and appeared as he sliced into Danzo's tendons. As he cut deep near to the man's lower back, where his spinal cord was. Danzo started to fall as it happened in just a couple of seconds. As Naruto grabbed him by the hair. "Do you know what you have done, Danzo? Do you even know what you have started? I will do anything for Konoha." Naruto tossed Danzo into the muddy, blood ground as he tapped his ear. "Yaiko! Yaiko! Come in! Don't attack them!" He could drag Danzo to Nagato and have the redhead squeeze a confession out of him. He looked down right to pick the man. The man was gone. How the hell? Naruto saw it, a body, switching seal, left where the man was. A more direct base seal than the body flicker jutsu. Danzo could be anywhere now. God damn it, Naruto screamed. After that, brutally injured man known as Kanzo, one of the rain shinobis, came to tell Hanzo that his ninjas were being massacred in the forest and that it was the Akatsuki that was doing it. When Hanzo saw his people coming back wounded, some of them dead, he flew into a rage. Nearly every day, Naruto wondered to himself, what would happen if he had just killed Danzo right there and had Nagato resurrect him so they could question him? Yaiko had stepped down, seeing that he was the one that rushed things and got them into this, as he wanted Naruto to be the leader. But Naruto did not accept the job because he blamed himself for not killing Danzo and stopping this feud. That is what started the deadly feud between Hanzo and his loyalists versus the Akatsuki. Given the fact that none of them could really, decide, Nagato was appointed the leader. And all of this happened because Danzo had manipulated Hanzo perfectly. No Konoha shinobi could confirm the Akatsuki theory. So they confirmed that Danzo had acted without Konoha knowing, with some faceless ninjas under his control who were to die at a moment's notice for their master. It must be because tons of Konoha ninjas were captured and Nagato used the King of Hell Lion Punisher technique. But none of them could confirm the suspicion that this was a direct call. It seems that Danzo has been working on his own with an organization. As Naruto remember what he said, the roots of the great tree protect the leaf in the shadows. As Naruto hated the leaf as much as he hated Danzo. After all, that is what started all of this feud. Hanzo had accepted them. Hanzo was gonna work with them, but this man had started chaos between him and Hanzo. Naruto rubbed his eyes. Suwaki was giving orders to the ninja to set up the room, the kind of food to bring in for the Dark and the Sun Alliance. It was being held in the Panza Senshi tea house, the clan that could transform. And not to mention, they were off the closest era when the sun came into the village. The tea house was a flat, spacious, glass ceiling. The walls were made out of red wood. There were carvings. The stages that a shapeshifter has to pass through before they became a full panther. After all, that is what the clan was mostly famous for, as they could transform into panther shifters. In the center of the room was 2 pillows for them to sit down, and a table in the center. This tea ceremony was rather symbolical for them, as it was something to behold between friends, families, and good allies. The leader of the shapeshifting clan, a man that was on the same height as Naruto, a tall man with a toned, muscular build, as he had 2 claw marks on his neck. He was wearing a purple robe of his clan. His name was Daishi. At the back of his robe was a clan symbol, a stick house with an inverted T cut in from the roof of the house to under the house. The man had his arms crossed as he looked at the supreme commander of the country. Naruto's eyes smiled. "I hope you don't mind me imposing, Daishi." The man cracked a smile, showing his sharp fangs. "Not at all, Lord Naruto. It's an honor for my clan to hold such a historic event. Oh, I'm sorry about Mito finishing all the bread in your store. I would make her cough up ever are you," he said. Daishi scratched his neck a bit. "It was my fault. I shouldn't have challenged her to a eating contest. I just didn't know that she would choose bread." "Still," said Naruto, "a whole year's supply of wheat bread gone. Uzumaki pride is something to fear, huh, Lord Naruto?" said Daishi as he laughed. As Naruto laughed as well. "My son got into trouble for beating one of them into a arm wrestling contest." "Really?" "Yes. He had to spend the rest of the night arm wrestling his friend entire family." As that made Naruto laugh and Daishi laugh as well. At the moment Mito was sleeping off, the amount of bread that she ate, a whole year worth, as the man had challenged her to a eating contest and she chose bread. The man never expected that at all. After all, she was such a slender woman, and yet that was just beyond incredible. Daishi glanced up towards the midday sun. "It should be about time for the Kazekage to arrive. If you would excuse me." Naruto nodded as the man left. 5 other ninja went with Daishi as they went towards the outer wall where they could escort the Kazekage. Suwaki took Daishi's place beside Naruto as she was holding on to an ink brush along the clipboard. "All the necessary preparations have been made, Naruto-sensei," she said. "Great," said Naruto. "Do you want me to run you through the alliance points again?" she asked. He tapped beside his head. "Nah, I got it all memorized," he said. "What I want you to do is to tell me more about Sabukuno Tetsuyu." She looked at her clipboard and answered, "Sabukuno Tetsuyu. The 3rd Kazekage of the Sun is a very calm and very calculated man. He rarely loses cool, and he's very defensive of his ninjas' meager number. He's a magnet release user that uses iron sand in combat. He's known to be the strongest ninja in Wind Country. He doesn't really have much of a humor. He's all business, and he's not keen on breaking the alliance that the Sand has with Konoha. I don't care if he doesn't break that alliance, as long as Konoha stays out of our way, said Naruto. The last piece of info I was able to gather is that he's currently training his son to take over as Kazekage in a few years. His son is coming with him? Sawaki nodded. Smart man. You want his kid to see how important the alliance is between our homes. What do you want to do now, Sensei? She asks. I want you at my side during the meeting. Since Lord Tetsuya will be having his son at his side, she asks. Naruto winked at her. Something like that, he said. She coughed into her face and read from her board. Lord Genkutsu Hoshiki, the second Mizukage of Kiri, is expected to arrive in 2 days' time. He agreed to have lunch with you on the boat, she said. We can have the meeting after lunch, said Naruto. Lord Koizutaru, first son of a daimyo of River Country and heir to the throne of River Country, will be in the country in 6 days. He wished to meet you in the museum. He's a big fan of their art. No problem, said Naruto. Soon the Kazekage arrived with an envoy of 4 of his ninjas, as he was guided in by the Panda clan head and the clan mates. As Naruto stepped down and walked a few steps towards the man walked forward as well. As Naruto reached forward with his left hand, and the man reached forward as well, the both of them shook hands firmly, their eyes pouring into each other as they test each other's resolve. They didn't blink or break eye contact, until Naruto's eyes twinkled a bit as he spoke. Well, shall we get to the matter at hand? Tetsuya nodded once. We shall, he said. As Naruto motioned toward the tea house, they walked up the stairs together and entered the small house. Tetsuya's son followed the man into the small house, and Sawaki closed the door after herself. The guards of the Kazekage and the Pantas stay outside to protect the place. Many people were being kept out of the clan, who want to know what was going on between their leader and the Kazekage, as they want to know how things were going along. But they were kept outside so they did not disturb the talks. Some of the people at the gate were journalists, as they had cameras as they took shots of the building where the 2 Kages were. As it went on for a full hour, and Naruto stepped outside, everyone held their breath as they watched. As Naruto raised a scroll in the air, the crowd erupted into cheers, as they were cheering loudly at the alliance that they now had between the Sand. Naruto gave the alliance scroll to Sawaki, who would make a perfect copy for the Kazekage. He turned to the man as they shook their hands again. Let us have a long and prosperous alliance, Lord Tetsuya, he said. He reached with his right hand and patted the back of Naruto's hand. Yes, and let peace reign between the both of our homes. The deal was that Darkness would give the Sand a 10 billion Ryu loan to build their farm along the border between Darkness and Sand Country. Naruto will provide farmers to teach the Sand people how to fully prepare and maintain their farm. In return, the Sand would pump the oil mines, and a great portion of it will be sent to Darkness. The Sand will still sell to who would want to sell to, and Darkness will sell to who would want to sell to as well. All of the profits will be shared and showed where the Sand will get a 40% and Darkness will get a 60%. 10 more percent was going towards Darkness, for them slowly repaying their loan for the farm, until the 10 billion was fully paid. After that, it will be split 50-50. And it was like Naruto would give them 10 billion right away. They didn't have that money yet, so they agree on 500 million Ryu a year. The Sand will also train the Dark Ninjas in the desert, so they could get used to fighting in all kinds of terrain. But the Kazekage refused to share the secrets between the puppet art, and Naruto refused to share his assassination techniques. Herbs will be sent to Darkness, and Naruto will also add the Sand to the Panda clan. A food routine delivery, but the price will be a bit higher seeing that he was out of the country, so that the clan of shapeshifters wouldn't perish on their way to the Sand, given recent developments and malice. For Darkness Country, there will be a tar road that was created directly towards the hidden Sand, and there will be guards. Joint missions will be done from time to time to increase the friendship between the two places, and shops will be set up between them as well. Communication towers are going to build between them, so it could have more contact between them, and they wouldn't have to take long trips most of the time. They were smaller detail, but the main thing was they were going to be allied for a very long time. as Naruto just invited the man to watch an art show, which he accepted. As Tetsuo stopped as one of his guards walked up to him. "What is it?" he asked. As San couldn't reach it, as she looked towards Naruto, she didn't look at her Kage at all. She stopped in front of the stairway, leading up to the tea house, her eyes blank of all emotion. As Naruto's right eye twitched, "I have a message for you, Lord Naruto." "From who?" She licked her lips. "From the roots of the great tree. Last time we met, I did not give you prior warning before I destroy what you love." She was referring to how Danzo tore the alliance between Hanzo and the Akatsuki. Now, as it has been in the past, all the cards are in my hands. The roots of the great tree are stronger than it's ever been, and it's getting stronger. She paused as the clan leader for the Panda clan moved, but Naruto shook his head as the man stopped. She continued as the shadow around Naruto's face started darkening. "I will give you one last chance, Ghost, to redeem yourself and save those you love. One chance to stop the bloodshed of your precious people and your precious allies." She took off her sand jacket and showed that she had a row of explosive under her clothing. She took off her headband as there was a powerful tag, a sealing tag on her forehead. Naruto pushed Tsuwaki behind him as his eyes started to get darker as the Kazekage pushed his son behind him as well. "Submit darkness, all the treasures and all the resources to the leaf, and you will save yourself and your people from the destruction I will bring you. I am the author of death, and you, ghosts, are merely a side character. In the grand scheme of things, I am the king, and you are less than a pawn. Now, tell me you're In a burst of white lightning that surprised everyone, Naruto jammed his hand right into her mouth. But white foam started leaking from her mouth as he cursed she already bit down. As everything, the tags on her chest and the one on her forehead, started to glow. As it went off. Time skip, Konoha Orphanage. A boy, known as Onion. Yes, a rather weird name. As his dull, brown eyes turned red for the quickest moment. As he saw the other orphans backed away in fear. As a man on the podium, none other than Danzo, looked down towards the boy. Anvu Black Ops quickly dropped down to stop the boy from what he was about to do, but it was too late. Danzo wished he didn't have to face this until a few years, but it was too late. Hidden art, magnificent cram portrait, still life painting. Everything froze once the boy uttered those words. It was a Kurama clan genjutsu. It froze everyone in place. All of them were stuck. The ninjas that were up in the air as they were coming down towards the boy fell down towards the ground, their body frozen. The orphans that were moving away stood there frozen. As the look of fear was on their face, no one moved. No one breathed. Onion brought up his arm as he pushed past the children, making his way towards the man on the podium. Danzo. The man was in a different position. He was trying to run. Yes, he was trying to flee, but it was already too late. Even for someone as young as Onion, he knew fear when he saw it. "You've done well, Onion," a voice said in the boy's head. "Bring him home." The boy nodded as he raised his arms, as he said the words that would seal Danzo's fate. "You're coming with me." Flashback. 6 months earlier. Onion, POV. "My name is Orion, but my sister called me Onion. She say that Orion is a boring name. I call her Carrot. She has 2 large front teeth, and she has a large set of glasses. She's blind as a bat without them. I like to tease her about her teeth, just like she liked to tease me about calling me Onion. I'm different from most people. I have 2 strange circles on both of my palms. Maybe that is why she called me Onion. I don't really like my birthmarks though. The other kids give me funny looks because of them. Never Carrot though. She always laughs, but it's fine. She does it in a fun way. I asked my auntie why I have them, but she said that it's a sign. I was born to do great things. She said it about Carrot as well. I like auntie. She's nice to us. She said that she didn't personally know her parents, and that she wasn't even sure that me and Carrot are related. But the whole clan is a family. Whenever we feel alone, we always went to auntie, and she warmed us up. Auntie has a daughter our age. When some time went by, we played with her. We played dollhouse, but Auntie made us promise to never touch her. I don't know why though. And there was always attendant with us whenever we played. We could only visit twice a week, seeing that we didn't live with Auntie. The Krama clan orphanage was okay, I guess. Auntie didn't want to tell us, but I know. Our parents died when we moved from darkness to Konoha. What she did tell us was stories about the ghosts of Dark Country. It always amazed us what the ghost did. And the way Auntie would talk about him, it was like she loved him. So, we loved him too. Everyone loved the ghosts. Auntie even hosts a puppet show to talk about the ghosts. Yes, Auntie Umara, the clan leader, was rather nice. One day me and Carrot met the ghosts. But the stories, they all seem like lies. The stories said that the ghost knew no fear, and that he did not hesitate to move, that he swept death and mayhem into the battle, while he was protected under the shade of darkness, that he moved within the smoke, even in the rain and the sweltering heat. That was the ghost that we knew. The ghost we met was different. He wore a mask over his lower face, so all we could see was his yellow hair and his blue eyes. We couldn't see his mouth, but we knew that he was smiling, to the way he carried himself, with that skip in his step. He said that he didn't like to teach Auntie, Sawaki, but he fell in love with teaching her. His voice made you feel like you were sitting around a campfire, with all your family members with Coco. We found out that it wasn't the fabled ghost that we were talking to. This man was different. He was Lord Naruto. Lord Naruto was nice. Me and Carrot could only see honesty in his eyes. Like he would sacrifice everything just to protect us, to ensure our safety. We knew this was true because someone with his eyes couldn't lie to us. And this was the second time we saw someone with those honest eyes. Me and Carrot, we love Lord Naruto. He said that it broke his heart each and every day that our clan was stuck within Konoha, that the Krama clan could not return back home, and we knew that he was telling the truth. He and Auntie was working on a way for us to get out of Konoha, and he said that it saddened him that he couldn't speak to us. Somewhere far from Konoha, somewhere protected. Auntie said that her artwork could trick the border seals, but it could not trick the censors. But me and Carrot didn't mind, just long as we could talk to Lord Naruto. But Auntie had snuck us out into the woods of Konoha, and we were currently talking to Lord Naruto. He noticed that I was sitting on my hands. I didn't want him to see my freakishly marks. What's wrong with your hands, Onion? Naruto asked. Is it because of your birthmarks? I was shocked. Because I think they're really cool. He laughed as Carrot leaned towards him. She was also looking for a compliment. Your glasses make you look super smart, Carrot. Thank you, she said. He got from the stump that he was sitting on and came over to me and held out both of his hands. He nodded. As I placed my hands in his, he turned my hands up and looked at the circles in my palms. Give you a few years and you'll be a master in illusions. Like Umara. I couldn't help but smile. Really? Really? He said. Then I saw some of the light leave his eyes. What's wrong? I don't want to lie to you too, but I need your help, you and Carrot, he said. We were shocked. The mighty Lord Naruto needed our help? For something? He was the leader of a village. He was powerful, but he needed us. For what? As he patted our heads, a really bad man attacked our home 2 days ago. He said that he was gonna hurt our friends and families if we didn't give Konoha all of darkness. I don't have a right to ask this of you, and if there was another way, I would do it. A sad look came on his face, like he didn't want to force us into anything. Like he didn't want to make us do this. We don't know when he's gonna attack again. It could be Uzo, it could be the San, it could even be in your clan. Our friends and family. We need to keep them safe. I hate how we think that he can threaten us, the people of Dark, into being his slave. I pushed past my nervousness as I interrupted him. Lord Naruto, what do you need us to do? Before I can tell you your missions, I need to explain some things to you guys. Onion, you see, your hands are very special. You can cast genjutsu from your hands. You don't even need to use hand seals. You see? He held up a finger. I looked at my palms, confused. You need a lot of training though. You hadn't even activated your chakra yet. You can still go on this mission though, but I'm gonna need you to trust me. I promise, I won't hurt you, neither of you. Do you trust me? I nodded. I can't explain what you're gonna do right now, but my student, Sawaki, is gonna take a small drop of your blood. I'll make sure it doesn't hurt. The best way I can say this is, she's gonna control you for a little while. I promise, so that we can get that bad man that wants to hurt our friends. Carrot spoke up. But what about me, Lord Leader, she asked. He tapped her nose and her face went red. It was funny because she looked like a tomato with orange hair. I really wanted to laugh at her. You, my friend, have a very important job. When Onion catch that bad man, which I know he will do. Friend of mine is gonna be bringing that Uzumaki girl to the village. Something that I had advised her not to do, but I want you to make friends with her. Her name is Kushina Uzumaki. It's very important that you do this because I know the kids from Konoha won't be nice to her. A time will come when she might be in a lot of trouble, and I won't be there to help because I'll be too far away. Can you do that for me, Carrot? She puffed out her chest as she adjusted her glasses. I'll do it, she said. I know it doesn't sound like a cool mission like Onions, but it really is. My Uzumaki friend is old-fashioned, and he will not list the reason. I'll tell Kushina all about you as well. So she also knew she has a buddy in Konoha. Be her friend. It could save all life on Earth. Time skip. Normal POV. Naruto had doubts that love and happiness would keep the Kyuubi at bay. But knowing how these people acted, it was the best that he could do to make sure that Kushina kept a level head. Carrot could be her friend, to keep her calm and peaceful. Not to mention the Uzumakis are rather temperamental. Only a few of them, well, the younger ones, knew how to control their emotions rather well. Carrot would be the one to keep Kushina calm when things went bad for the little red head. The Kurama clan could help, but he would draw suspicion from Sarutobi if he realized the clan that was drawn from their home was befriending the soon-to-be Kyuubi Jinjulke, as Naruto knew that Torun would listen. And Mito would go through the plan same way. He told them, Torun especially, that Konoha wasn't a safe place for Kushina. There weren't that many Uzumakis left, as many of them had left ages ago. And they had come to darkness, while some of them were still too rooted in the village just to pack up and leave. The video of Orochimaru and Tsunade threatening him hadn't shaken the man. Another video from the suicide bomber and even the eyewitness. The man hadn't changed his mind. Naruto had to ask him, he really had to. Why can't Torun listen to reason and take the Kyuubi from Konoha? The leaf was definitely not superior to Uzu. And then darkness would go to the aid of the whirlpool right away. Konoha wouldn't be able to do anything, not even with their allies. Torun said that he was an old-fashioned man. He was a man that abided by tradition. He made a blood pact with Hoshirama Senju. The leaf will maintain peace and didn't start any wars. This blood contract was born from the Uzumakis and the Senju. That trust they share with each other. As long as Torun was alive, as long as there was no war that the leaf spark or started, the Kyuubi would stay with them. But the two videos of the leaf trying assassination, like the bombing, and Orochimaru and Tsunade. But Torun didn't think that they were. But what he did though was to sever their military and trade an alliance with Konoha. That was enough right now for Naruto. Naruto had called up Torun, resolving their alliance, to question him, saying that the man had been shown proof of two things that Konoha did already, trying to start war. And Torun was behaving like a petulant child, and he wasn't talking to him. As Naruto took it upon himself to make sure that Kushina was safe. Sensei, Naruto shook his head from his short flashback with Torun. Omara and the Kurama clan children are safely within the village, said Sawaki as she was on a tree, her legs folded, her hands in a snake hand seal. Her eyes were closed in deep concentration. Movement to the Konoha orphanage is on their way. Onion could still see, hear and talk, but his body was not his to control anymore. They had to shave his head completely bald, remove all traces that he was from the Kurama clan, and cover his head with a black and white beanie, a gift that Naruto gave him, apologized for shaving his head, so that he could be placed within the orphanage. Omara told Naruto by the message that Danzo was really seen, but there was reports of the orphan kids going missing. Reports that the matriarch did not, well, mention. After all, they didn't have anyone, so with Danzo taking them, no one would miss them, and Danzo simply paid her to keep her mouth shut. The Kurama clan head proposed to Naruto that this was their best chance of finding out Danzo's location, so they placed Onion within the orphanage, where he was supposed to wait patiently for the next wave of disappearances. Carrot was heartbroken because she wasn't able to speak to her brother or even see him for 6 months since he was placed in the orphanage, though she patiently waited for Kushina to arrive, as the both of them write letters to each other. For now, until they could get to Danzo, Naruto orders ninjas to be wary. They set up a code word. Every single day it was swapped. If Darkness and their allies were going on missions, they had to give that code word to show that they were not a root imposter. As through the entire 6 months, Suwaki kept in touch with the boy. It was rather hard for him. After all, when the kids saw his birthmarks, they made fun of him. She was in his mind, as she was not yet taking full control of his body, seeing that she wanted to conserve her chakra till the time finally came. So for the entire time he talked to her though, as she helped him with mind exercises, helped him to build a mindscape in his mind, where he could literally talk to her and he could even see her. He asked her many things about Lord Naruto, and what was he up to, as she told him many things as well. The boy was doing a rather hard job. After all, the kids would picked on him, and inside was, well, bad. The food was awful. They made sure it didn't care about them one bit. She just had to make sure that they were still breathing. Yes, the woman didn't seem to care about their well-being. Throughout these 6 months, a lot happened, with Naruto continuing the trade agreements with the other nations. Danzo was mistaken if he thought a little bomb like that could really harm Naruto, as he escaped out of that unfazed. But that was not the only attack. The sand form was attacked. The root ninjas were slaughtered, but before they could get any of them, their body burned. Yes, some strange seal designed to burn their body after their death, to make sure that they were not taken and studied for evidence. The day finally came though, when all of them were woken up late in the night as they were taken. The matriarch told them to be quiet as she led them through a tunnel long hallway. As Onion kept his eyes around as he saw man and woman dressed in all black with a mask on. They were the root ninjas that Suwaki told him about. They enter a large room with a high podium on the top. As Onion glanced around as he saw many of the kids, they were afraid, very very afraid, because they had no idea what was going on. The place was dark until the lights came on. The lights were very low, giving the place an ominous feeling. Onion didn't saw him as a man. As he stepped up on the podium, he had an X on his chin. As he looked down towards all of them, "Children of Konoha," he said. It was none other than Danzo. "I am Danzo Shimura, and from now on, I will be your one and only master," he said. "Your dedication is to me. Our dedication is a leaf for the betterment of the Leaf Village. Until the end of your training, you're nothing but filth, impure iron that will be bathed in hellfire to cleanse you, to bring you up to proper status, to give you the task of saving the leaf. You will all look to me for salvation because I'm the only one that can save this wretched world from damnation. You will all be fashioned into the shiniest tools that is to be used by me." He slammed his fist on the pedestal as he looked at all the children. "For those that perish in the course of a training, they are not worthy to be called my tools. Those of you that fall back and fail me in any way will be discreetly disposed of. Service to me is eternal, your life, your death. They're all mine. Your soul is mine, forever to keep the constant peace for Konoha. You're all mine," he said, as he looked down at all of them with a deadly glare, as most of them started to cry silently. Danzo's eyes swept over the group as he stopped, looking on one boy, Onion. But this boy's eyes were filled with rage, wrath, anger. Danzo then saw all of that vanish as the boy went blank like he was being controlled. Shit! He quickly turned on his heel. The world froze. As Danzo stood there unmoving, the colors got bright green, yellow, white. As Danzo tried to move, but his body was not listening to him. His skin became pink. His clothes became orange, like a painting. The ninjas were in pink and green gear. The children were covered in all sorts of colors. The Kurama clan illusion. Release. 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 His own voice said in his head, but his lips weren't moving. Release, release, release. He tried to pump his chakra to break through the illusion, but nothing was happening. As he watched the boy slowly walk up to him, Onion had normal skin. "You're coming with me," he said. The boy reached forward and touched Danzo on his forehead. Foreign chakra flooded through Danzo's body. As he bent down and placed the boy on his back for a piggyback ride, Danzo didn't understand. "Where are you taking me?" he said. He was the one being controlled now, carrying the boy. "To your filthy pig leader?" "Shh," Onion said. and Danzo found himself unable to say anything. His ninjas, the ones outside that were not affected by the technique, looked at him strangely as he carried the boy in his back. He tried to yell, to scream, for them to do something, but nothing came. Return to your quarters, now, Onion yelled. He was not sure if it was him speaking or if it was Auntie Sue that was currently in his mind, but the ninjas followed his orders. Danzo realized something. He was the one that said that. What kind of genjutsu was this? How did this even work? The boy had stopped time itself, freezing everything inside, bringing them into a unmoving painting. But this genjutsu, he could not move. He had no actions to move over his body, yet he was the one that spoke. It was like something told him what to do in his mind and he said it right away. No hesitation. There was a reason that Naruto chose Onion, as he was quite unique even for a Kurama clan member, who were all unique in different ways. It was a long story. Well, the short part is, the man that had sealed Mania, the demon, into the first holder that was placed in the Kurama clan, after a number of years, he had later performed another seal. His chakra, his very essence, but not himself. It was like a reincarnation thing. In a simple way of saying it, Onion was a reincarnation of the first Kurama clan head. Yes, he had the same chakra that the man possessed, to be able to battle a demon just in case it tried to escape ever again. That is why Onion was so rare. He was a reincarnation of that man. The man had performed a seal, releasing his chakra within the clan, so that the demon will always be kept at bay by one of his family members that inherit his power to be able to seal the demon back just in case if anything went wrong in the future. But that also meant that his soul and his chakra did not ever find eternal rest. But the man did not care Mania was a threat to his clan and the entire human population. So, it had to be done. Even if Onion didn't know it, he was the best solution to subdue the Thorn Danzo, who was going to become a bigger problem in the future. Naruto knew it. The clan head, with a few strokes of her brush, she was able to create a canvas that draw the guards, all of them, away, as Onion and Danzo quickly made their way into the dense forest. The clan head stayed behind to erase our genjutsu from the area, as Danzo quickly sped off with Onion on his back. As Onion was heading back home, he thought about the legend of the Kurama clan that was currently on his mind. It was said that before the first clan head of the Kurama clan was ever established, it said that they were born from an angel, angels of Kami. After winning the battle, the angel fell in love with a male human, and stayed on Earth. And she gave birth to 20 children with orange hair and brown eyes. This was, well, rather a stretched thing because no one had legitimate proof that this was real. That man was the first person, yes, he could be said to be the clan father, the father of all Kurama children, seeing that he was the one that was with the angel and she had the Kurama kids. The 20 kids, well, grew up and they had kids and more kids. They settled down and they found someone to, well, lead them. One of the more superior member, the older one of the clan. But Kami noticed their existence and the heavens were threatened, seeing that they had angel blood running through their system. So the goddess convinced her sister Yami to send Mania to wipe them out. The first time Mania came, it was sent back, defeated by the clan head. But it came back stronger and stronger and stronger. The man was so powerful he was able to defeat the beast, but he had to make a sacrifice by sealing it within his elder daughter. He died soon after, but not before looping his chakra into the clan, to make sure that his chakra would born a reincarnation, so if the beast ever break loose. Mania was quite strange. If they were too close, the beast might get free, but if they were too far away, the beast might get free. And the person that hold Mania was rather sickly. Yes, it always affects the person's body rather badly. So it was hard to care for the person. But they had to, or else the beast would be free. As all of this was going on, Danzo was thinking, as he knew exactly where he was going. The ground suddenly opened up as he jumped inside, as Danzo heard movements before they went away. He then heard voices. Misdirection successful. A woman. Half her body was out of the ground, while the other half was down below. It was like she was made up of clay. I sent them to chase 3 clay clones. I sealed up the holes already. As she reported to her commander, as this group was called the Gato Group, and they were under the direct command of Sawaki. The remaining Gato ninjas came out of the ground, as they had just melted with it like they were made of it. As their ground opened up back and Danzo leaped out, still being controlled. As the Gato ninjas run with him, as they brought him to where Snazzy and Orochimaru had entered. The Gato ninjas pushed open the door and allowed Danzo to enter. As Danzo saw him, he was sitting behind the table. "Well done, Onion," said Naruto. "Everything went perfectly." But guys, I'll be in episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, what to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. And yeah, I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.